welcome. In this video, we are going to make this lovely waterfall junk journal. Now, I have to tell you, here we go again, that I watch all the other crafters videos all the time. There's quite a few people that I really love because they inspire me. And so it's the highest form of flattery to say I watched a video and then I made this, because mine is very different than hers. But big shout out to Cathy's Garden. She, I think, posts almost every day of the week nice 30-minute videos. If you do not know her, go know her, like her, love her, and subscribe to her channel, because she always has wonderful, I call them little projects because they're a beginning and an end. You can get them done. And so she did this week, this waterfall, and I got really excited because I just was like, I want to sit down and make that. Isn't this just beautiful? Look at it. Now, the second person that I'm mentioning is Cara Brandon, because all these papers are from her digital kit, and I'm going to forget what she called it. Anyway, I have the link in the description. She, I think I showed you the video that I made where I went and bought all the Tim Holtz fabrics, right? Because these are one of a kind and he's never going to have them again. So here was the orange set, and Cara was so cool. There's a red, yellow, orange, neutral, and green just came out of his thing. So if you want these, you need to get them now, because again, they're not going to be reprinted. Anyway, I bought the fabrics and I wanted to make some fun things, and Cara said to herself, oh wait, why don't I make corresponding papers? So that's what you're going to see right here, is the corresponding papers that kind of with the same thought process from Tim Holtz's, palette paper. So let's look at this. I'm going to show you exactly how I made my cover. Now, Cathy used sari silk. I didn't have any sari silk that went with mine, so didn't use that. But I loved the idea of using, because I use them on a lot of my journals. Hold on, I'm going to grab it. I just finished the Pink Parfait Giant Junk Journal. And what did I close it with? This is one of those hair bands that I got at Dollar Tree. And of course, it just totally matched that one. So they didn't have an orange one. And so I went, well, if that's the idea, they have a pack of these like neutral bands that don't have anything attached to them. And so I bought those, and then you'll see in the video exactly how to make this. I just took a piece of cardboard box, covered it with some of the paper, and then glued some little flowers. And where do you think I got the flowers? From Dollar Tree, okay? So let me show you. So see how this is a waterfall? That's what I loved and was so intrigued by. So I've used Cara's, I think it's pretty much the orange kit. Now she had a red, yellow, and orange digital where you could get all three of them, and that's the one that I bought. So you open this up. Here's a piece of not hymn paper, music paper, and all of the ephemera is from her kit. She gives you so much. And then I made this little one, and we folded that, and there's a pocket there. And then I used, and Cathy just did this, and I never even thought of doing this. This is tracing paper, and if you just, well, you could coffee dye it. You know what I sprayed on was old paper from Tim Holtz Distress Inks. Let it dry, and it came out great. Added some washi tape. Then here's another piece of her paper that's folded in here and shortly, on a short side, right? And then I made an envelope. I made the envelope from her papers, and we stuck that in there. And then there's the back part of that, and then here's the back of this. Where did I get this? I'm so excited because my first chindi rug that I cut up months ago, that's what this is from. And so I just thought it just went so well. And so I did a tri-fold in here, and we stuck all the fun things in there. You flip this over, and I've decorated, and I made another pocket and put all of her fun. She just makes the most beautiful ephemera, and it makes your life so easy, because if you print the kit, print the ephemera pages on cardstock, sit there and cut them out and have them all ready to go. Can you see this big pile of stuff? That's what that is. And then you flip this over, and then I took one of her big cards and I put eyelets in and strung some orange elastic. Now, I didn't make it taut enough, so this might flip out, but here's a bunch of, fun things. And then what we actually made is this is a big envelope, okay? and then I just, you know, stuck something in there. So let's make one of these. Now, I am not going to decorate the one you and I are going to make. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. And so that's what's going to be the fun part. And then, oh, and then I did the, I'm sorry, go back. I did the pamphlet stitch. Oh my gosh, if you follow me, you know, Diane, you actually sewed. Yes, I did. You know why? I was going to sew it on the sewing machine because I ended up going to my sewing machine and sewing this. But then I realized if I did that, then there would be no dangles. And I really wanted dangles because I've had these beads for forever and I never get to use them. Okay, so let's make a waterfall junk journal together. So the second one that I want to make is going to be pink. And I went through my pink parfait papers and I picked horizontal papers because the vertical papers you would have to turn to the side, and if you had writing then it really wouldn't work. So for this project you will need 2 pieces of horizontal style type of paper, and then a 3rd piece of paper that you're gonna fold and make into an envelope. So let me show you what I've done. You have a choice. You can double side print your papers or use scrapbook paper. If you've got scrapbook paper that's double-sided, that's fine. What I decided to do was I did not print double-sided. I ended up taking 2 pieces and gluing them together. The reason I did that is so that it would make my cover a little bit sturdier, okay? And then the inside paper, it would just give it more bulk that I needed. So I've done that. Now, this is my pink parfait paper. This is Cara Brandon's pink kit. This is Cara Brandon's pink kit, and then this is mine. And then this is mine also, okay? So once you choose your papers, you have those ready. Excuse me, we used a piece of tracing paper that I dyed, and I put old paper on there and did that. And then you need a large piece of music paper, okay? So either this is a double-sided or it's 2 papers. This is either double-sided or it's 2 papers, okay? And then you need a 3rd piece of paper and an additional piece that you're gonna just make the inside of the envelope look well. Okay, let's begin. So as I said, I've already glued these together, and what I've decided is, let me show you what papers are gonna be what. I want this one to be my cover. So here's the cover, and it's an envelope. Do you see that, how it did it? And I took it to the sewing machine like Cathy did, and I'm probably gonna do that again. So what you do is, this is going to, I want that to be my cover, so I'm gonna bring this over here, and I'm gonna then kind of, and you just play with this, okay? You need some space. You need some space to make we're making a giant envelope. Let me just tell you that, okay? Now, this, if I were to go there, is like about 4. How far did I go on this one? I didn't measure this, I just played around. See, I only did 3.5 there, and I left more space. So that tells me that actually worked okay. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go, yeah, I'm gonna go 3.5 again because it worked out perfect. So I'm lining up my edges, creasing it, okay? So that's the right side. And then this is going to be the front. So this is your very front of your journal, okay? And so I picked, see why I picked the horizontal papers, because the writing is going in the right direction. And that's about all that I need right there too. Okay. Again, I'm gonna tell you some measurements, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever you like. If you want a bigger, you know, part, you want less there, this is all, you know, up to you. Okay, so here's our outside envelope. Now, the next piece is one that I'm gonna fold up. And so I picked, if I put it that way, the writing would be upside down, which is not what I wanted. So I wanna be able to see the writing, and I'm gonna fold that up. Again, I'm not really looking at how far, just I want a nice pocket, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold this, but I'm not gonna fold it in half, because what I did on this one, and I wanna do it again, is I kept the whole width. And see, what I did is I folded it in this way slightly, okay? So let's say we went about right here, because that's going to go in there. Now remember, we're trying to do a cascade, okay? So I don't want to fold this exact same amount. I want to fold it a little bit wider. So actually, I think that looks good right there. That looks like a nice, because what we're trying to do is we're creating a cascade, waterfall. Either word works, right? And then this, I'm folding it onto here because that's how wide it's going to be. So we're going to go ahead and I'm actually going to just line that up like that and ease this down. Actually, let me put this in there and get it opened a little bit. It's just decided. See, there's all this extra part, which we're going to cut off in just a minute. Maybe I should cut it first. That's what my problem is. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to take this back out. We are going to just trim this off to the fold because we absolutely don't even need it. And it's way too much bulk. Okay, so let's make sure this is nice and straight. And I'm going to just trim on. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It wasn't in the camera. Okay, yeah. Okay, when I'm trying to trim it on a fold, I don't do real well with that. So you just cut it to where the next fold is, and then I'm going to just remove that like that, okay? There we go. So now that's going to go in there like that, and that's going to go over like that. Now don't forget there's going to be more things in between there. So that actually works much better. Let me just trim it a little bit more. I was too close to this edge. Okay. Let's just take off some of it. Yep. Okay, now the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this is nice and folded. Okay, so we want all that like that. We want to crease our folds. Then I'm going to go where this fold line is, open it back up, and I'm going to just I'm going to cut on the fold line straight. Then I'm going to take my scissors and just at a little teeny tiny angle. It's actually difficult because you're just trying to cut a little tiny bit off. That just means that it will fold up better without this extra piece. See how small that was? We're going to do the same thing on this side. We are just going to take off a tiny fraction, and you can kind of angle it up to that point. That's all you need to do. Now this one we didn't need to do because we've already trimmed it. Okay, so that just works so much better, and there's a space, and I don't really care. Now if you are going to put a notch or a thumb notch or a notch or a circle, now is the time to do that. So I'm going to use my notch this time. Try and go in the middle. Do that there. We're going to do this here. Okay. So both of those, there we go. Okay. And there is our middle piece, and that's going to work really well in there. Okay, we've got those two done. Now, you're going to make, now, if you have an envelope, fine, use it. I don't have a pink envelope that looks like this. So all I did was take the piece of paper. Look, here's my paper, right? I went like this and just kind of folded it up and then did the same thing how we did that, left a space in there. And then because it was only printed on one side, I just picked another paper and kind of, quote, lined the envelope, but you don't need to line it all the way down, okay? So that's all we need to do for this part. If I'm going to put a notch, which I am, I'm going to notch this now. Okay. We're going to, I darken, ink the edges all at one time. Okay, so we've got three pieces that are going in there so far, okay? Now, what we're going to do next, let's take our music paper. And I'm going to take our two pieces out. We're going to take our music paper. Now I am going to, let's see, I wanted to do this differently than I did it before. Okay, again, we're cascading. So let's set it there. We're gonna play, okay, this I did. I trimmed this part off because you don't really need all that blank edge. So trim off your top of your music paper. See, I know it'll go in here. Okay, so we've got that trimmed. So we'll get rid of that because we don't need it. Okay, now we're gonna put this in here. And again, this is just all playing because we want it to be a waterfall, right? So let's see, now that looks pretty good. Am I folding it straight? That would be the trick. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. Now see, there's another piece that we're showing. See how cool that looks? Now, when I made the other one, I cut this off, and I think what I want to do is I want to do another fold. So I am going to fold this, and hopefully that will work. Okay, so it would be back inside there, and that's going to go like that. Okay, perfect. Now what we need to do is just trim this off because our waterfall is only horizontal. It's not on the top. So let me trim that off. Okay, so I trimmed the top, put it back in there. Okay, so now we're gonna look at what would come next in here. And next for me is going to be that folded piece. Now, here's the trick. That's gonna go underneath there. Now I might need to fold this. Let me see. See, I only made one, so let me go back and look. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think I might have folded this not enough, but what we could do, and that's okay, I could just trim that if it's not enough for me, okay? So let's just leave that for right this second. The next piece that we're gonna put in is going to be our tissue. So this is going to go in here, right? So I'm just gonna kind of lay it in there a little bit. Let's go a little bit further. And let's pretend that works. Let's see if it works. So you're working everything against this fold in there, okay? And that looks fun. Yeah, that works. And we haven't even added our other envelope. Now, why is my music paper looking too tall? It's because it's slid up. So hold on, let me get the music paper set up right now. Now just my tracing paper is too tall. So I'm just gonna mark that. And let's see, what did I do with my tracing paper? I trimmed it, okay? I did not fold it. I think because I folded the other ones in this, I am going to, yes, I'm gonna just trim it. So I'm gonna make a mark and we're gonna trim that there. Okay, so I've got 2 marks on my tracing paper to trim. So we're gonna trim this first. Okay. Oh, and then I just cut off the, I cut off the piece where I was gonna be, where I was trimming it this direction. Wait, let's try this, okay. Sometimes math or my brain just does not think. I think I remember something and then 5 minutes later I go, no, I don't remember that at all. Okay, let's just put that like that. There we go. Now I'm gonna mark it again. Now I know where to trim it. Okay, let's trim that. See how simple this is to put together? So if you don't have tracing paper, if you have vellum, vellum will work. It doesn't matter. Just any kind of a, now, see what I love about this is the sound and the look, right? I love that crinkly sound. So you're getting some really good, you know, okay, that's gonna go like that, and then this goes in there. Yeah, that's how we got it. Okay, so this can be any way you want. This is your little waterfall, okay? Now, I made that envelope, so that's the last piece that I want to go in, and I'm going to put it in the middle here. So it's going to be there, and look, it's on the edge too. So see how pretty that is? That worked perfectly. Look, it's exactly, okay, so let me show you. So we open this up, there's the inside, which we can decorate. There's our piece of music paper. Here's our folded horizontal piece that we made our pockets. Then comes our tracing paper, and here is our envelope, which it's going to be right in that crease. So I did not glue this yet. That's okay, right? Because maybe it's too far. Maybe I need to bring it up just a little bit. How much do I have showing? Oh no, I don't want to change it, okay? And basically, guess what? That's it. That's all you have to do. Now, if you watch Cathy, you're going to see that Cathy added a whole bunch more stuff. I did not add more, and I will tell you that it took me a good 45 minutes to probably an hour. Oh, there was another piece. I forgot. I put this piece in there. Okay, hold on. What I was starting to say to you was, you could add a whole bunch more, just you're going to do a lot more decorating. So it's really kind of up to you how much, you know, embellishing, decorating that you want to do. Okay, there is one more piece. Yep, I need one more fun piece of paper. Now, the question is, do I really even need it? Where is it going to be? It's going to be right on that piece. Okay, so if I decide to do it, let's look at our papers. Now, what I did was I trimmed, let me show you again. Okay, this, do you see this piece of paper? This is like half a sheet, and I left that little flap because I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so that's what I want to do again. So what piece of paper do I have that would look really fun right there? Actually, even if I like set it like this, right, it goes in there like that. It really could be almost any of these papers. Ooh, maybe I get more flowers right in there. So it's gonna go like this. So that's the part that's going to show. Okay, hold on, I gotta figure this out in my head. Okay, take this out. This goes in here. So here we go again. You have to figure out what you want to see. So I'm not gonna make it bigger than the tissue, this tissue. It's more about what design is going to show up. So yes, that's pretty. And then we put this back in there. So I have to line it. Do I want to see the whole flower? Is kind of where my head is at right now. Now we could do this because we've got that really fun, look, we've got this fun design on there. So I didn't really totally fold that. Okay, so let's go back here, put that in there. What if we use this piece of paper and it comes in here, right? Comes in there like that. Now see, I like that. You know what I'm saying is I need something that's got a strong pattern underneath this, otherwise you don't see it. So you know what? Let's use this one. Let's just use this one. And so we're gonna do it just like that. And now I have to line it. And we're not gonna use that whole piece, we're gonna cut it. So now let's find, do I wanna put this in there like that? And then this would be up against it. Do we like that? Ooh, I do like that. Look how pretty that is. Let's do that. Okay, so now you're gonna see, I'm so sorry, when I first started, I totally forgot I did this other piece of paper. So we're gonna go over there. And remember, like I said, I'm not gonna have this whole piece in there, but this works actually really well. So I like the more intense pattern on the outside, and then this soft one can be on the inside. Now, I have been using 24 or 28 pound paper, just plain paper. I am not using matte photo paper because these are soft designs, and to me, I don't need to do that. That's just me. Let's go back and fold this. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, get everything back together again, Diane. Okay, this one goes right there. And then we are going, oh yeah, look how nice that looks. That looks like really, really good. Okay, so now we're gonna go back inside here and we are gonna decide, let's just go to like right there. That's all we need. We just needed a little piece in there, okay? So let's trim this back. Go ahead and trim that, make it straight. There we go. So now we have an extra piece, but that's okay. Put our book back over here. Crease that. Go in the crease, go in the crease, go in the crease. Yes. And where's our envelope? And there's our envelope. So our envelope goes right up against there. Yes. Oh, wow. This is so pretty. Isn't it pretty, pretty, pretty? Yes, it's great. So we kind of got a little waterfall in the back. So it's a little bit different. Everyone is going to be different. Okay, there it is. That's all we did. So we've got 1, 2, 3 with pockets, 4, 5, and an envelope, okay? And then that's gonna be just sticking like right there. That's it. That's all we have to do. And then that's gonna be there. That folds out. Remember how we did that? Get to your folding. And then this folds out, right? I may end up cutting it off, but I'm leaving the fold on there for now. And then this is in, whoops, I have it all over there. This is actually into the crease right there. Come on, Diane, get it back in the fold. Well, trying to show you, and then I move it from the fold. Sorry about that. There it is. This is where it is right here, right? And then there's our back. Again, I don't close this up until it's all done, but I am gonna put a notch there before I go forward, okay? So let's go ahead and notch this. Okay. The next step is we are going to sew this whole signature in. Now, you can do one of two things. When I watched Cathy, I actually wrote her a message and asked her, couldn't you sew it on the sewing machine? And she was like, yeah, you could do it. So let me just give you pros and cons. I did the 3-hole pamphlet stitch on this because I wanted to have some dangles, okay? So before I sew the pamphlet stitch on this one, I'm gonna take the cover and go to my sewing machine, which you cannot watch me because it's across the room and I don't have my camera near there. Okay, and then I could do the pamphlet stitch, or I could just go ahead and sew it right on the sewing machine, which would be cool. I wouldn't have dangles from the inside, but look, I made some fun dangles when I was doing Mass Make March, and we could add this on somewhere. So my thinking for this journal right now is that I want to use this as my closure. Now, I've talked to you about where did I get this. This is Dollar Tree. These are probably little girl headbands is what they are. And there we go. The only thing that you have to do with them, you see how it has this piece of felt? Now, obviously, it's for a head, so it's, you know, kind of big. So see, that's way too big. But you know how easy it is? What you do is you take the slack up and we're just gonna glue it onto there and you won't ever notice it, right? So it's gonna be like that. And that's going to be my closure. And so we could hang this off of here, which would be really fun. So we could still get dangles in other ways. So I'm gonna stop the video. I'm gonna go to the sewing machine, and I think I am gonna sew it all the way through. So I'll be right back and I'll show you how it looks. I finished sewing on the sewing machine, and you know what? I decided I'm just gonna go ahead and sew the whole thing together, which is what I did. Is it perfect? No, but it's okay So when you sew your envelope, you sew it when it's not attached. Okay, so I just had it laid out and sewed all around it. And I love the stitching that she did. She made it straight and then she did a serpentine. I did the exact same thing and it worked out like perfect. Okay, so it is sewn together. We've got it all there, not perfectly on the line, but again, it's okay because it's paper, right? And it's looking really good. So now I'm gonna close, oh, I didn't put the notch here. So we want a notch on here. Let's get that notch. Then we're gonna glue that together. That does not get glued because it's a flap. This is another flap. I have to kind of put the seam back in it because again I went over whatever a little bit. Okay, this is all ready to go. And I love that the whole word postcard shows. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna glue up our part. You know what? Hold on. Do I want to curve that? That's the question. Let me see if I want to curve it. You know, let's just do it. Okay, let me move that. Got to get in the right spot. So I'm going to do a 1/2 inch on this punch. Yeah, that looks pretty. That was good. Okay, got that. Now we are going to go ahead and we're going to glue this together and we'll have a nice giant pocket on the back. Okay. There we go. So that one is glued together. That stays open, that stays open. This comes back over here. Gonna do better creases. This is coming over here. And that looks good. Let's see, now, do I want to edge that? Is it gonna look right if I do it? Yeah, it would look okay. Let me see. Here we go. So I'm gonna curve some of my corners because I just think it's softer, right? Now, if I was smart, I would be putting my ink on this. There, say before I glue it down. There we go. Okay, that's looking good. Now I can glue this together. So we're going to glue this envelope back up. And I'm going to go underneath this and make sure that this is glued down so that if you go to pull a piece of paper out, it doesn't get caught. Because that was just our liner, remember? There we go. So we've got that envelope now, which looks wonderful. Turn this over here and get this creased nicely. Crease that. So see, it doesn't really matter that I didn't totally have it perfect. It's okay. Now, I think we want to, oh, wrong thing. Let's curve that. That looks nice. Yeah, I like that, Okay, now what we're gonna do, whoops, darken it before you glue, Diane, so that you can get into those little spaces, right? Okay, now we're going to glue this flap up for our pocket. Okay, so that will go right there. And see why you have to trim that off? It would be over the fold, would never work. Just wouldn't give you any breathing room. which is basically what we created. Okay, and we've got that, and so now this comes over, and we're gonna edge, not edge, we're gonna round that corner, round this corner. Okay, come on. There we go. And I think we're gonna round this one. Like that. That's our envelope, so we're not going to round it. I think I'm going to leave the tracing paper because I think I might do what I did in the other one, which is I ended up putting some washi tape on it to make it a little bit sturdier. Isn't that pretty, pretty, pretty? Yes, it is, Diane, even if you say so yourself, right? Okay, let's there we go. Okay, that goes. Oh, we have to glue that down. We didn't glue that one down. It got caught in the fold, so I don't have to worry about the other side. There we go. So that's glued. And I think, let's round, I'm going to use this one to round this. This is stronger, let's put it that way. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? It is beautiful. Okay, what am I going to do next? What do you need to do next? What I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to ink all the edges and I am going to decorate it, and then you will just see the, I'll flip through at the end. Let's make a really fun closure. Now, Cathy did sari silk. I don't have any sari silk that really goes with this, so I had a better idea. I love these little headbands that you can get at Dollar Tree. I think they're little girl headbands, right? They're little stretchy things. And wrong color, but look at the idea, okay? And I thought, oh yes, if that was the right color, wouldn't that just be so pretty? So we're gonna make one, because I don't have an orange one. So what my thoughts are is I have this band, which coordinates, but it didn't have anything on it. So I'm gonna take a little piece of a box that I've cut up when I made all my lace toppers, and we're gonna go ahead and just cover this in case you would see it, which I don't think you're going to see it, but anyway. So we'll just cover that with a little piece of paper. Okay, so that's going to be like that. And then these have to come over here, and we're going to put it on the back. I already measured it, and I know that they both have to go, they have to come around like this. And that should be just enough give, not too much give. Now for this, excuse me, I'm going to use my glue gun. See if it's ready. Yeah, it's ready. Because it would take forever if I used just regular glue. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. This is the only thing I hate about glue guns. Okay, and then this comes around like this. So let's put some more glue on it. And remember, you're wrapping it. So you need to have it over, cover. You need to turn it in the right directions. What I'm trying to say as I'm burning my fingers. Okay, so, ow, yeah, Diane. Okay, it's on low and it's still hot. Okay, let's let that sit for a second. Now, I have these orange flowers. Are they too orange? Oh, I think they're just so pretty. right? Okay, now I go to Dollar Tree and I buy, you know, like one of their stems, I guess you call them, right? So I think I'm going to leave that part on. Let's just trim that off so that it's still kind of stuck together is what I was thinking. And is that going to be, so if we put a couple of them on there, that's what my thought. Well, you'll just see you're doing it with me. So we'll see if this idea works. I've got 1, 2, I've got 3 of them. That should be enough. I probably have more in my bin. But just trim that stem holder thing off. Oh, look how pretty that's going to be. 3 is perfect. Okay, so now we got to get the, let me get a glue stick for my glue gun. Because right in the middle of while I'm doing it with you, it's going to go out. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put one there. I'm going to put a big bunch of glue on it to hold it. Then we'll put some here. I know it's probably hard for you to see, so you're going to have to imagine what I'm doing, right? So I'm trying to do like a triangle. See if that holds it together. And then see if the little edges show, it won't matter. Oh my gosh, isn't that cute? Yes, it is. Okay, let's push that one in a little bit. So when you're in Dollar Tree, another thing to buy, like I said, is their stems. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That's perfect. That's exactly what I had in my mind. Okay, so now you know how to make this for yours. And I've finished my pink waterfall journal. You know, I love this project. I am very glad that I follow Cathy's Garden, and the link is in the description. Please go there and give her some love because she is so creative, and her videos are wonderful because they're easy to follow. She gives very clear instructions. So these are a shout out to Cathy's Garden for the idea. Shout out to Cara Brandon because this is her kit. And here's my pink kit. And as I showed you, I wanted to add this fun little headband, and I did. So next time you're in Dollar Tree, go and look at the headbands and pick them up. There's pink and there's a blue-gray. There's a different shade of pink that I've seen. And then there's these beigey ones that have no flowery stuff on them, but they're a good set too. So all I had to do was, they're way too big because they fit your head. I just folded it over and glued it, and now it's the exact right size. So let me show you what I've done. I added some faith to this journal. This is a piece of packaging that I told you where I got my new washi tapes from. Cut out that box because we reuse and repurpose, right? And then the boo-boo tape, link is in the description because that's Margarete from Seven Plaza. I did not make it. Get her kit. And then I added some of those butterfly stickers that I have. I added Tune My Heart to Sing Thy Praise. I thought that was just perfect next to the music, right? And then over here, we've got a few little things just to tuck in, and I decorated that. I added washi tape to both sides of my tracing paper. I like it, makes it a little bit stiffer. Plus, listen, it's so cool. And then added some of that little fiber stuff that I told you. Again, I get at Dollar Tree, but only at Halloween. And a pretty girl and a bird and some other fun things. And then in here, I stuck in, this is lots of ephemera from my Pink Parfait ephemera kit. There's a ton of pink stuff in there, and that's what you're seeing most of this is, okay? Let's put that back in there. Flip this over. And I love that I used this paper to make my envelope because it already had that on the back, and so I didn't need to add anything. And then this is a piece that I got off of Temu. These were called postcard booklets. They're double-sided. There were 32 pieces. They're heavy duty. You could actually send that in the mail, okay? And I got a pink one and a purple one, I think. And I just added that, again, with some green boo-boo tape. Added some more washi tape on both sides. And then, of course, because it's tracing paper, you get to see the back of it that has the postcard. And then here's my envelope. And because I sewed it in on the sewing machine, I decided to add some kind of a dangle. And so I've, used put that on there. And then there's lots of fun pieces of ephemera. And I added this picture because this is actually out of my black and white photos kit. This is actually my family. This is my this is my grandfather. So that's his father's. That's my great-grandfather and his family. Of course, I never knew any of them, obviously. And then we flip that over. And then I added another piece, let us come together and say grace, just a piece to add some faith. And then this is from my Pink Parfait ephemera kit, and added a butterfly. And I put it on there deliberately with the pocket so that it stuck out. Then I didn't like the white background, so I used some really wide washi tape that I have and just added that. This is a piece, again, this is actually from Cara Brandon. And what I did was I added a piece of Sing So the Lord, right? Sing to the Lord. And it's on music paper, or the other side of the music paper. So I thought that was perfect. Added a pocket here. This is actually one of the messy journaling tags out of the Pink Parfait kit. Added another butterfly and some other pieces. I added another tag with faith on it. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. Psalm 150, verse 6. And then in the back of our pocket, I've just tucked in some little journaling spots. And that is the Pink Parfait version of the Waterfall. I hope that you will like this video. I sure hope that you will share it and go give some love to the people that I mentioned. And I hope that you are subscribed and you will be back for more videos.